Hi, Unbound One, and welcome to this Unbound Writing Masterclass. If you don't know me already, I'm Nicola Humber, author of Heal Your Inner Good Girl and Unbound, transformational writing mentor and founder of the Unbound Press, a soul-led publishing imprint for unbound women. So I've already used the word unbound quite a few times, and it expresses the essence of what I'm here to do in the world, which is to really help women to be their fullest, freest selves. And that's what Unbound Writing is about. So I'm going to dive into the class. So let me share my screen. Fantastic. Okay. So as I said, this is an Unbound Writing Masterclass. Unbound Writing is a very specific process for book writing, and really the intention is that it helps you to write the book that changes your life, okay, that creates transformation in your life throughout the writing process and beyond. And you might think, that's a bit selfish. I want to write a book to help other people, to help create transformation for my readers. And I know that's the case. If you're here watching this training, then I'm pretty sure that you want to be of service to others. You're here to do wonderful things in the world. You are here to be part of changing the world and creating new ways as old ways fall away. It's kind of a given. But what we want to do in order to create momentum in our book writing process and to write the most powerful book for you right now is to write the one that changes your life. Because if you're creating transformation in your own life through the writing process, you are making space for your reader to experience the same. I'll be talking more about that during this class. I could talk about that point for ages. But imagine what it would be like to write a book that does activate this wonderful, expansive, abundant change in your life. Just be connected with that possibility as we go through this. So why have I felt called to share this training? Well, I know through my own personal experience of writing 2 transformational books and also supporting many other women with writing their books, that writing a book is one of the most powerful things you can do to create deep transformation in your own life, in your business, if you have one, and the world in general. I'm really passionate about helping others to create world-changing books. I believe that we can change the world one book at a time, and I would love you to be part of that. And I know that so many women have been feeling the call to write a book. Maybe for the longest time, pretty much every woman I come into contact with, has been feeling this call to write a book or is in the process of writing a book. It's something that so many of us experience. But most, the majority get stuck in this place of procrastination, doubt, and distraction. And believe me, I know I've been there before. I made a really strong commitment to write my first book, Heal Your Inner Good Girl. I spent years in this place of procrastination, doubt, distraction, finding other things to focus on. My book writing always got pushed to the bottom of my priority list. When actually I wish that I'd written it much sooner, because once I started writing my books and sharing with the world, that's when everything kind of opened up for me, both personally and kind of in my business and in my work. It kind of cleared the way for me to be doing what I'm doing now. And when I speak to women and when I'm supporting women with their writing, so many kind of have this wish that they'd started sooner. Because the thing is, if you're feeling called to write a book, it's no accident, okay? It's coming through for a reason. So you want to trust that. And so often we don't trust this you know, the guidance that we're receiving or the ideas that are coming through for us, it's like, I'm not sure if that's for me. I don't know if that's for now. If something is coming through for you, if you have a desire now, it is for you now. There's no need to wait. So I want to make it non-negotiable for you to write your book and release it into the world. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today, you know, very much the Unbound writing process is a way, I'm not going to say it makes writing easy, because I don't think writing a book is ever easy, not least because, you know, we want it to be a transformational process for you. So transformation doesn't normally happen that kind of effortlessly and easily. There's normally some challenge involved, but that's what makes it really juicy and really compelling to your readers and your audience as well. And it's what helps to make it non-negotiable for you. When you see book writing as a transformational process, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go for this. So what I'm going to be sharing during this training today, I'm going to be talking about some of the soul-sucking, paralysing fears, doubts and stories that are keeping you stuck right now and may have been keeping you stuck for quite some time. I'm going to be sharing the 4 specific stages of writing the book you're really here to write at this time, the one that will change your life and make space for the same level of transformation in each of your readers. So I'm really not interested in you writing any book. You could write any book. You know, you could sit down and make yourself write a book. You've got so much experience. You've got so much magic you could be sharing. You could sit down and write any book. I'm interested in you writing that very specific book that is just waiting to come through you at this time. And I'm also going to be talking about how you can move forward with your book writing in the most potent way. Again, I'm all about potency. Like, if you're going to do something, let's make it really juicy and potent. Okay, so maybe you've been feeling the call to write a book, perhaps ever since you were a little girl. And I know that's certainly the case for me. I loved reading and writing. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a writer. And when I started my business about 10 years ago now, I started a hypnotherapy and a coaching practice. And I started blogging pretty much immediately. And I always had this feeling that I was going to write a book. I had a desire to write a book. But it took me a number of years, like 6, 7 years, until I actually gave myself permission to write that book. Perhaps you've really felt guided to write a book. Like I said, this kind of sense of knowing that is coming through for you. Or maybe you've had some kind of reading, like a soul alignment reading or an angel reading, or, you know, some kind of reading where this guidance has come through to write your book. And again, that's something that I experienced very clearly and helped me to make the decision to write my first book. Perhaps you've started to write a book and then you've got stuck in the process somewhere. So, you know, it's been great at first, you've been writing, and then maybe you've got a bit confused about what you want to focus on, or something else has come up, you know, shiny object syndrome. You know, I'm going to focus on that now, another project. And your book writing keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the list. Or maybe you've already written a book, and if that's the case, go you, really celebrating you. But you're feeling called to write something that really fully expresses the truest essence of who you are and what you're here to share at this time. Okay, so if any of those things are the case, then this training is going to help you. So I wonder if one of these doubts are holding you back right now. So these are some of the most common doubts, fears, limiting stories that I've experienced myself and also have heard from other women who I work with. So the first one is this idea that I need a bigger audience before writing a book. Kind of a combination of small list syndrome, like that small list shame. Oh, I don't have that many people who are interested in what I'm doing. I don't have that many people on my email list. I don't have that many people following me on social media. And then you can have this kind of imposter syndrome, which is like, who am I to write a book? You know, who do I think I am? All of this stuff can come up when we think about writing a book. What I like to do, or what I've learned to do with these doubts, is first to acknowledge that they're very, very common. Most people experience at least some of these in one way or another. When it comes to the idea that you need a bigger audience before writing a book, if you're going to go down the traditional publishing route and look for a traditional publisher, then yes, that probably is the case. They'll be looking for someone with a bigger audience, with a big existing platform. But there are so many other ways to publish today. You know, you can self-publish, you can, you know, publish through something like the Unbound Press, where we're a hybrid between self-publishing and the traditional publishing, traditional publisher. You don't need to wait until you've got a big audience before writing a book. And actually, with the Unbound writing process, a key part of it is the idea that you grow your audience as you write. Okay, so we're not waiting until your book is out there and then wanting to grow your audience then. I encourage you to start growing your audience and creating a community around your book as you write. So your book is a way of growing your audience, okay, rather than waiting for the growth before you write. Like I said, these kind of doubts can come up. Who am I to do this? Who would want to read what I have to share? We've all experienced that at times. Like even the best known authors, the most successful authors in the world will experience these kinds of doubts at times. And when you recognize that everyone experiences these kind of thoughts, then I think it helps you to move through them. And also when you're really connected to the vision of what you want to create around your book and how you are going to be fully expressed through writing your book, it helps you to move beyond these kind of stories. This is another one that can really keep us stuck. The idea that I should be completely clear about what I want to include in my book before I start writing. So there can be this idea that you need to have it all mapped out. You need to know what all your chapters are going to be and your subheadings, and you should be completely clear about that before you start. Or maybe you should have this like fantastic book proposal ready before you start the process. I'm a big believer in gaining clarity through doing, okay? So you don't wait for clarity, you write for clarity. You gain that clarity as you go. This is really about trusting your own process. I mean, maybe you are relatively clear about what you want to write about. Like I said, most of the women I work with have like such a multifaceted range of experience and things that they could be writing about. Sometimes it feels like there's a lot of ideas there, they're not sure what to focus on. And I always encourage them just to start writing. Start writing whatever is coming through, like day by day, just allow it to come and you gain clarity through writing. So with a lot of these doubts that I'm talking about, or fears, limiting stories, we're really turning them on their heads. And rather than saying, I have to wait until to write my book, it's like, no, I'm going to write my book to help create what I want to create. There can also be this idea that writing a book will take too much time. So, you know, you haven't got the time to write. And, you know, writing a book can take as long as you want it to take. It really depends on your process and your intention. The important thing is to make your book a priority. Once you commit to your book and make it a priority, you will find the time to write it. And actually, you can write your book in a shorter amount of time than you might imagine. One, you've most likely already written quite a lot that can go into your book. But even if you haven't, You can write your book in small chunks of time if that works better for you. I wrote both of my books, Heal You're in a Good Girl and Unbound, in like really short, no longer than 30-minute chunks of time per day. Okay, and not even every day. But you know, I can't write in big expanses of time. If I have a whole day, I'm not going to sit and write for a whole day. I just don't work like that. I just bring stuff through very quickly. So I gave myself permission to write in these small chunks of time. So you can kind of slot little writing times in amongst the rest of your day. It doesn't have to kind of overtake your whole life when you're writing a book, not by any means. And there can be this idea that surely it's more important to focus on activities that have greater income producing potential. Yeah, because you want to be creating an abundant income in your life, in your business, and it can feel like there are other activities that are going to bring money more easily into your business. And certainly if you're relying on book sales alone, then writing a book is probably not the best way to make money. But again, with the Unbound Writing process, what I believe in is, what I encourage you to do is to see your book as this incredible foundation, this platform for other offerings in your business, for other creations in your business, other ways of sharing your work. And again, you don't have to wait until your book is written in order to start doing this. You know, as you're writing your book and ideas are coming through, it may well be that you create some kind of event or workshop around that. Or it influences the way you work with your one-to-one clients, or you create a mastermind group around your book. You know, you can do all of this throughout the process, and it really infuses your book with this really gorgeous dynamic energy as well. So you can start making money from your writing, from your book, right from the beginning of the process if you choose to. Okay, so if any of those doubts are holding you back, you know, I hope that's helped to kind of reframe them in some way. I think that it's really important to acknowledge if we've got this stuff coming up for us, but also to know, like I said, that these kind of fears, doubts, limiting stories come up for everyone, and we can choose to see them in another way. You always have a choice. And I really want to show you throughout this training how these fears, doubts, and stories are irrelevant when you choose to write Unbound. You know, the Unbound writing process, like I said, is really about turning the writing process, the book writing process, on its head. So what is Unbound writing? It's to write from your unbound self, the fullest, freest you, who has no inclination to hold back, edit, or dim her light. You might be reading that and thinking, but I do feel like holding back a lot of the time. And if you do, you know, it's no surprise. We're kind of encouraged to hold back, to dim our lights, to kind of censor ourselves in lots of different ways throughout our life. And that's why I really like to bring your unbound self into the book writing process. So she's there, she's got your back, she is always like up for being so beautifully, magnificently, fully expressed. So she is going to help to pull you through when these kind of doubts and this inclination to hold back is coming up for you. Unbound writing is a way of connecting with and activating others through what you express. Okay, so this idea that you write a book and it's like a solitary process, and then at the end you go, ta-da, there's my book. That is not unbound writing. What I want to encourage you to do is to be connecting with your audience, with your readers, with your potential readers throughout the writing process. And as you're doing that and you're sharing around what you're writing, what's coming through in your process, you're already creating this sense of activation within them. You know, you're opening them up to new possibilities, as you're opening yourself up to new possibilities. So it becomes this gorgeous, like synergistic upward spiral where you're having this really expansive impact on people right from the beginning of your writing process. And it also helps to anchor you into a greater sense of confidence in your own magic, your own unique magic, what you're here to share with the world, because you're inviting people into the process all the way along. You're receiving this feedback from them and insights from them and awarenesses from them, which are helping to inform your writing and really anchor you into your unique process. Unbound writing is a way to channel the voice of your soul onto the page, giving her a place to speak, play, and experiment. So I think it's really freeing to see the whole book writing process as a playful experience. You know, you can't get it wrong. You really can't get it wrong. And when you know that, you really give yourself permission to experiment. You allow whatever wants to come through, and trust that in some way it is coming through for the book. Maybe it goes into the book directly, or maybe it's just for you to express in order to clear space for whatever does want to come through. But you trust that it really is the voice of your soul that you're bringing through. You're clearing that space, you're making that space for your soul to be able to express whatever she wants to express. And it's allowing your writing to be an alchemical process. You are transformed as you write, and in turn, that creates the space for your readers to experience their own powerful transformation. Okay, so in an alchemical process. And what that does, when you know that even when it feels challenging when you're writing your book, even when you're feeling uncomfortable or vulnerable around something that you're going to be writing about and sharing it with the world, when you know that by allowing yourself to experience any feelings of discomfort or challenge that may be coming up for you, by allowing yourself to experience them, you are actually making the space, you're clearing the way for your reader to experience their own transformation. Again, that can help to pull you through. It's like, yeah, I'm choosing to go first. I'm allowing myself to feel this. I'm allowing myself to move through this. And that is going to be so powerful for my reader, because the energy of that really infuses your writing. Like I said, it creates this energetic space for your reader to have a very powerful experience when they're reading your book. And this is what helps us to write the kind of books that people, when they're reading it, they just feel like activated. They feel this sense of transformation, and they can't wait to tell their friends about it. So, you know, the word of mouth around these books that are written in an unbound way is really, really powerful. And they have a really long lifetime as well, because your book will keep getting passed on to more and more people, or the word about it will keep being spread. Okay. So I want to introduce you to the 4 specific stages to writing the book you're really here to write at this time. So there are these 4 stages that I'm going to be talking about. I want to let you know right at the beginning, this is not like a linear step-by-step process. It's not like you do stage 1 and then you move on to stage 2 and then you move on to stage 3 and then you move on to stage 4. You know, for probably like initially you might kind of interact with the stages in that way. Sorry, I couldn't find my words then. Not very good for a writer. Like I said, you can't get it wrong. But actually you will move through these stages like in a more cyclical way. It's more like a spiral. You'll come in and out of each of these stages. You might be in more than one of these stages at the same time. Like I said, it's not this linear process, and you can be in more than one of the stages at a particular time of your writing process. And knowing that can be immensely freeing as well. So let me just dive in and start sharing them with you. So once you know these stages, you'll be able to move forward with your book writing confidently, trusting that whatever you're experiencing is exactly what you need to at any moment. And that is priceless. You know, that feeling of trust and knowing is going to create this real feeling of potency in your writing. So stage one is to commit to your book, to commit to being the author that you're here to be. So I love this quote so much. I'm just going to read it for you now. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never have otherwise occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favour all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings and material assistance, which no man or woman could have dreamed would have come her way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it. Begin it now. So that's Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Never mind. That's such a powerful quote. And, you know, it really speaks to this stage one of the Unbound writing process, which is to make this really clear and powerful commitment to your book, to your writing, and to yourself as the author you are here to be. And if you resist, notice some resistance to thinking of yourself as an author, I want to invite you to really sit with the idea that you already are an author. Even if you've never written a book before, the fact that you're feeling a call to write a book means you are here to be an author. Okay. So this stage one of commitment, what it involves, or a powerful way to really harness the power of this stage, is to make a declaration to yourself. So first of all, it's like you tell yourself, yes, I'm doing this. The universe, by sending it out into the universe, and at least one other person. Okay, so you want to make some kind of public declaration that yes, you are writing your book. This is what you are doing. You're going to be sharing it with the world. When you do that, you create this really powerful momentum. It removes doubt and it creates a container for your book to unfold. So as soon as we make this really clear commitment, what you'll notice is like different ideas coming through for you. You'll have experiences or conversations which feel like they are meant in some way as material for your book. When you're aware of it, you will notice things all the time. If something's happening for you or something's coming up for you, it'll be like, oh, okay, I think this is meant for the book. So everything starts to operate in your favor in terms of writing your book. Also, part of commitment is really choosing to inhabit your being as a writer, the author of your book, someone who has something of value to share. So that's a way of really galvanizing this sense of commitment. It's like, okay, I'm choosing to inhabit my being, to be a writer, you know, and what do I do when I am inhabiting my being as an author? Okay, what kind of thoughts do I have? How do I support myself? You know, these are all questions that we want to be asking at this stage. Like I said, you really want to be deciding what support to put in place, you know, to help you to write your book. So that might be in terms of like clearing space and time for you to dedicate to your writing, or the space, you know, the actual physical space in which you choose to write, the way you choose to write. Or certainly having some kind of support in place, which may be like a mastermind group, it may be an accountability buddy or a coach or a mentor, someone like me. You know, what do you want to have in place to really support you through your writing process? All helps. These are all different layers of commitment. Stage two is to conceive the idea that wants to come through you at this time for this particular book. So this is about unlocking the book that wants to come through you at this time, that very specific book. And the idea that there's a specific book that wants to come through you at this time, that can feel a bit daunting. It's like, oh, it can feel like pressure to bring through the right book. Like I said, you cannot get this wrong. And when you really give yourself permission to start writing, you know, writing whatever wants to come through, I guarantee you will unlock that specific book, that specific idea. It doesn't always come immediately, and that's why I don't need to see these stages as this linear process. You will be continually in this process of conception. It's all good, it's really juicy, and it enables you to get to the most powerful essence of what you want to share. So, you know, as I said at the beginning, this is about writing the book, not just any book. You don't want to be like trying to figure it all out from up here, from your head. Okay, it's really feeling into what wants to come through. And in order to do that, you really want to provide the right conditions for conception. So it's like any kind of conception, you know, you want the conditions to be right. So what does that mean for you in terms of like being able to be in this place of receptivity, to be able to receive the ideas, the downloads that want to come through for you? It's most likely that will require some kind of spaciousness. It doesn't have to be this like huge expanse of space. It's not like you have to clear months in your diary at all. Just throughout your days, or certainly at certain times during the week, creating this spaciousness so you're able to connect with the ideas that are coming through you, and to feel that sense of inspiration, to be in a place of receptivity. You know, I've shared a picture of some trees there, beautiful forest, because for me, being in nature is one of the kind of ideal conditions for me to conceive and connect with the ideas that want to come through me. So it's really thinking about, you know, what is going to help you to conceive your book. And again, as I've said, you really gain clarity through writing. Your book will evolve throughout the process. Okay, so really allowing that. What you begin with probably won't be what you end with, and that's all okay. You're kind of going on this journey. Your book writing is this kind of journey, and you may take a kind of twisty, turny path along the way. Sometimes it may feel like you're going backwards, but it is, you know, when you see it as like this spiral, you're never going backwards. Okay, you're just coming round at things from a different angle. So it's really trusting that. Stage 3 is to create. So this is about creating your book, being in that kind of active place of creation and writing. And this involves really trusting that whatever is coming through is exactly what needs to emerge. And this is going to entail like allowing the unknowing in places. And again, I've learned to trust this like through my own personal writing process, and to recognize the power of allowing yourself to sit in the unknowing, and also through supporting women in my Unbound Writing Mastermind and the Unbound Press authors, like all of whom have gone through at some stage this place of, I don't know what I'm really writing about. I'm not really clear on what's coming through. But when we allow ourselves to kind of stay with the writing process, it does become clear. We do get that clarity. We do move into knowing. There's a really cyclical nature to it. So it's really trusting that. And also about prioritizing your writing. So I believe in writing in alignment with your cyclical nature, like allowing the ebbs and flows of your creativity, not writing in this rigid way. And also I encourage you to harness the power of divine discipline. And what I mean by that, because discipline, as an unbound woman, the idea of discipline might have you running for the hills. I know it did for me. But when I think of discipline, like in service to the divine, when you think of writing, you know, your writing is in service to the divine, in service to something greater, which it is. you know, particularly when you're writing in this unbound way, you're bringing through ideas and the kind of fullest expression of your story, which is really going to have such a world-changing impact on your readers. So it really is in service to something greater. And when we see our writing practice like that, helps us to harness the power of discipline and create this really gorgeous momentum. Like I said, I really encourage you to write in alignment with your cyclical nature. So rather than expecting to feel completely inspired and wanting to write every single day, day in, day out, there will be times, you know, we're impacted by different cycles, lots of different cycles. Your own personal menstrual cycle, if you have one, the cycle of the moon phases, the cycle of the seasons, you know, and your own creative cycle. Okay, so we're going to feel different at different times, and that's okay. You know, I think there's been this idea around writing that if you're going to write, if you're going to be a writer, you have to show up every day at your desk and just write. And I really say no. Okay, like I said, you want to have this sense of divine discipline, but also there will be days when you feel super inspired and the words are just flowing, and that is great. There will be other times of your cycle where it feels like you want to be more in planning mode or editing mode. So really harnessing and allowing that. There will be times when it feels like nothing is coming through. You're just feeling blank. You know, there are certain days during my cycle when I feel like that. And that's okay. Rather than trying to force it, we allow ourselves to write in alignment with our cyclical nature. So it's really about allowing and trusting your unique process, which will become clearer and clearer as you write, as you go through the book writing process. Stage 4 of the Unbound writing process is community. And I love this photo because this is me on a Live Your Gift retreat that I ran last year. And this was based on the work that was coming through in Unbound, but it was before Unbound, my second book, was released. I created this really powerful community around my writing, around my book, before it was even out there in the world. So this is really about creating a community, a movement around your book. It's a way of connecting with others. And part of this is really to share your writing as you go. So it can be this idea of, oh, I don't want to give it away. You know, I don't want to share my writing too much because then people might not buy my book. No. What you do when you share your writing as you go is you create interest and anticipation. And also, like I said, you can be creating different offerings and different ways of connecting with your audience throughout your writing process. And all of this informs your writing, so it becomes this gorgeous dynamic process. Your book is a platform for other offerings and sharing your magic in different ways. So like I said, that might be workshops, retreats, programs, one-to-one work, all sorts of things. You know, the possibilities are endless. And when we see it like that, it feels really expansive. And, you know, this is about celebrating your book as well. I know when I wrote my first book, Heal You're in a Good Girl, I did it. I self-published. I did it all on my own. I was working with an accountability buddy when I was writing it. But when it got to kind of releasing it into the world, it felt like a bit of an anticlimax. It's like, okay, it's just me putting it out there. And, you know, I love Heal You're in a Good Girl. I continue to have people coming to me talking about, you know, what they've taken from the book. But when I actually released it, it didn't really feel like a celebration. Because I hadn't really been building this community around it throughout the writing process. It felt more like a solitary process. So I really want you to think about how you can be creating community around your writing, your book, right from the outset. You know, what kind of community do you want to create? You know, is it more of an intimate community? Is it a kind of large global community that you want to create? How do you want your readers to feel? How do you want each of your community members to feel? If you think about your, you know, creating a movement around your book, what is that movement about? What is your intention for the work that you're releasing into the world? For, you know, how are people going to be impacted by your book? So you start asking these kind of questions, and I guarantee it will get you really excited about writing your book and sharing it. Okay, so it becomes, your book becomes bigger than simply the book. Okay, it becomes this gorgeous community. So that is the 4 stages of Unbound Writing. And as I said, they kind of intertwine with each other. We spiral round with different stages at different times. And even once your book is out there, you know, we can still be connecting with each of these stages as we kind of make deeper levels of commitment to the magic that we're here to share. We're continually conceiving new ideas which can like come into a new book, or new offerings we can create around the existing book. I expect that once you start writing, you know, there will be other books that come through, and you're continually kind of growing a community around your writing as well. So I want to talk quite briefly about how to write in a way that makes the most powerful impact. And I've kind of spoken to this already throughout this training, but I just want to reiterate this point because it's really, really important, and it can help you to, like I said, create this really powerful momentum and make your book writing process incredibly potent. And it's the idea that you have to be willing to allow yourself to be transformed personally by the process of writing your book. So it becomes this dynamic process that is impacting on you in this gorgeously expansive way as you write. So rather than thinking about your writing as, okay, I'm gonna write, and this is for my reader, I'm sharing it with them. It's like, no, you allow yourself to be impacted by your writing as you're going through the process. And what this is you go first. You know, you go first, you allow yourself to experience transformation, to be transformed. Okay, and what that does is creates the space for your reader to be transformed by your writing in the most powerful way. And this completely changes the energy of your writing. Okay, it becomes infused with this quality of transformation, and your readers can feel that. And when you're sharing throughout the writing process, you know, your audience can feel that as well. It's transmuting your experience into gold. Okay, so it is this alchemical process. This is what makes Unbound Writing so powerful. Okay. So let's just take a breath. Whew. I feel like I've shared a lot there. So I just want you to just really let all of that land, just breathe, take a few deep breaths right down into your belly. Like breathing right down into your womb space, your creative center. That's good. And just ask yourself the question, what would it be like to write the book that changes your life? And when I say the book, I mean the book that is going to have the most impact for you and your audience right now. It doesn't mean you're only ever going to write one book. I pretty much know you're not once you get started. If you haven't started already, I know there'll be more books, but there is this specific book that wants to come through you at this time. And also, you know, asking the question, what do you want to create with and around your book? And what is your most unbound vision for the book that you want to write? Are you feeling the call? And if you are, it's like you feel it in your body, this like sense of excitement, of expansion. Yeah, are you feeling that right now? But if you are, then I have an invitation for you. So it's an invitation to commit and to gain unstoppable momentum in your book writing. So I want to invite you to join the Unbound Book Lab, which is a 4-week action-focused writing workshop. It's not that easy to say that. So this is an online process. It's self-guided. You can join it at any time. You can get immediate access to this 4-week writing workshop, the Unbound Book Lab. And it's a way to commit to yourself as an author and your writing in the most magically potent way. It will help you to conceive, to bring through the most compelling book idea for you to focus on right now. During Unbound Book Lab, you'll create a powerful and fluid plan and structure for your book, so you're super clear about how to move forward and can continue your writing journey with ease. So, maybe you will write your book within the 4 weeks of Unbound Book Lab. That is certainly possible. I would say for most people, you'll probably want to allow more time, but the Unbound Book Lab is this way, like I said, of really gaining momentum and clarity, a huge amount of clarity, so that you can move forward with your writing in a more easeful way. It will help you to establish a writing practice that really works for you and doesn't make you feel guilty if you're not chained to your desk 24/7. No one wants to be chained to their desk, particularly unbound women. So I want to help you to create a writing practice, like I said, that feels really good for you. Because if it doesn't feel good, you're not going to keep going with it. And also during Unbound Book Lab, I'm going to be helping you to start sharing your writing with your audience in a way that helps you move through the completely normal fears and doubts that we've spoken about, that come up when we're thinking about writing a book, and also to reach more people with your work. So you're going to start sharing during the 4 weeks of the Unbound Book Lab. So here's what you'll cover over the 4 weeks. Basically, we're going to go through the 4 stages of Unbound writing. So the pre-work for Unbound Book Lab is to really make that commitment. And actually, by stepping into Unbound Book Lab, that is definitely a really powerful layer of commitment right there. Week 1 is about conceiving your idea. Week 2 is creating your plan for your book. This is an evolving plan. As with anything Unbound, it's definitely not set in stone, but it's going to give you a really good foundation for moving forwards with your writing. Week 3 is about creating a really strong and powerful writing practice that also feels good for you. Week 4, we're going to be focusing on sharing with your community. So you'll have different writing assignments every week, which don't have to take much time. But in week 4, you're specifically going to be creating a really potent piece of writing, a compelling piece of writing that represents your book or your book writing process as it is at that time, which you can begin to share with your community, creating interest in your book, in your writing, and in your work. So, as I said, Unbound Book Lab is a self-guided process. It's designed to nurture you as a writer and the specific ideas that want to come through you at this time. You can start the process at any time and you have lifetime access to the resources. Plus, you'll have the chance to join me live for a group coaching call. So there is a monthly group coaching call around writing. I can't get my words out, sorry. I hope I'm being clear. Basically, throughout the 4 weeks of Unbound Book Lab, you will get access to one live group coaching call with me. Okay, so that's something that happens every month, and for the time that you are in Unbound Book Lab, you will get access to one of those group coaching calls. So this will be your chance to ask me specific questions about what's coming up for you, to share any specific challenges that are coming up for you, and workshop your ideas with me and the others that are on the call. So it's a way to get really specific and to get my support, my one-to-one support during that group coaching call. Okay. I'm just getting too excited about Unbound Book Lab. So to find out more and get immediate access, you need to go to this link. I'm not going to read it out because it's a bit of a mouthful, but the link is below this video. You can click through and join now. And I just want to remind you, you know, if you have felt called to watch this training, if you have been feeling the call to write a book, it is no accident, okay? You know, that is coming through for a reason. And it's easy to stay in procrastination and distraction. Like I said, I spent many years in that place. So I really encourage you, if the idea is coming through, whether or not you join Unbound Book Lab, and of course I hope you do, because I want to find out more about you and your writing and to support you with that process. But regardless of that, please start now, because the world needs to hear your magic. It needs, you know, your readers need to read your book. And like I said, it's very likely that will clear the way for more magic to come through you. So there you go. If you have any questions at all about what I've shared in this Unbound Writing Masterclass or the Unbound Book Lab, please feel free to get in touch and ask me. I'd be happy to answer anything. And yeah, here's to sharing your unique magic with the world. I'm just going to stop sharing and come back to you. Okay, yeah, here's to sharing your unique magic with the world. You can see that the way that I do things is unbound. I give myself permission not to do things perfectly. And that includes book writing as well, because you can't get it wrong however you do it. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. It's been a pleasure to connect with you, and I look forward to seeing what emerges next in your writing. Bye.